Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Modern Mixtape TV. My name is Natalie Brodnick, and today I'm here with singer-songwriter Nico Carrera, who is based in Illinois and is approaching the release of his debut AP. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your interview, your podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me a little bit about your musical background. Like, when did you start performing? When did you know this is what you wanted to do?
So I grew up learning instruments. So my first instrument was drums, and then I decided to teach myself guitar, and then went on to bass, to piano, and then I started producing and arranging my own music. And I would say the singing is kind of a new thing that I just started doing. So it was kind of going towards more the singer songwriter side, where I can actually produce and sing on top of the beats that I make. I didn't start performing until this year when I joined Vacants. I joined them in November. So from November till now, it's just been practice and building a band chemistry just to be able to perform as well.
Yeah, definitely. How'd you meet those guys, by the way?
Funny enough, they own, so Luis from Vacants and a couple other guys. He owns a brand called Mesh Men, which is it's like a clothing line, and they also make like different
Oh,
apparel and hats and
cool.
stuff like that. But one of my friends from the skate park, because I used to be really big into skateboarding. One of my
Yeah.
friends from the skate park modeled for them, and I was like, oh cool, like who are these guys? And he kind of introduced me to like who they are and sent me their information. And then I reached out to Luis, and he had me come out one day to one of their practices. And from then on,
That's
it
so
just,
awesome. I love that you kind of met them organically that way.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you come from like a musical household? Like, do you come from like family that kind of encouraged you to be involved in like musical stuff?
I would say, yeah. My parents they don't know any instruments, but they definitely are heavy into music, and that kind of influenced my brother and I. And my brother's also a musician.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, cool.
he produces more rap beats and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of music going on in the household at all times.
Yeah. And you were talking about genres a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you say that you identify with a certain genre for your music, or do you just kind of play around with a lot of different sounds?
I definitely play around with a lot of sounds, but I would definitely put my music more towards alternative R&B. I feel like is
Okay, yeah, I
where I
hear
would
that.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like what kind of I guess like albums or artists were playing like in your house that might have influenced kind of the kind of music that you make today?
Growing up, definitely Erica Badu, a lot of Erica
Okay,
Badu,
yeah,
a lot of
I agree with
Common and
that.
Kanye. Um, More so towards the rock side. My mom really liked Led Zeppelin as well and the Beatles, so I was always hearing, older rock as well
Like,
as some of the newer 90s, 2000s R&B. I think that mix is kind of what pushed towards what I do today.
yeah, and I can definitely hear that you have quite like an eclectic kind of sound in that way. Like I can hear
Hmm.
a lot of different influences. It's cool.
Thank you.
And then what does your like creative process look like? Like when you are sitting in a studio or wherever you're writing, like how do you approach songwriting?
So I do not go to the studio. I keep it, within the household like a lot of other artists these days. And
Yeah.
I usually start with I usually start with guitar because I feel like it's easier to get ideas out on guitar first. I'm learning piano a little more, and I do have another song that I started on piano with to like, get the ideas in, but um I think most of the songs that I have ready to release or that I'm working on the most start with guitar, and after guitar, then bass, and after bass, throw on the drums, and then it kind of just builds from there. I add, little accents with piano, other
Mhm.
vocal tricks in the background. So I think
Yeah.
guitar is definitely like my starting point for everything.
And then do you produce like all your own music or do you collaborate with
Yeah.
anyone?
No,
Okay.
I do the producing all on my own within my bedroom and just get
So
my
cool.
ideas
I feel
out.
like that's how everyone's doing it now. It's so cool that
Yeah.
like people can basically make like best-selling albums from their like bedroom on their MacBook. It's
Yeah.
awesome. What do you use to edit your music, by the way? I'm just curious.
I use Ableton Live.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
yeah.
I love Ableton.
Yeah, I started on GarageBand at first, and
Yeah.
I made some pretty good ones, just pretty good for beyond GarageBand. They have really
Yeah,
good, surprisingly, they have really good piano sounds and synthesizer
they
sounds.
do. I know.
And
It's
then
like
yeah,
Logic is just like barely a step up from GarageBand, I feel like.
I
I feel like that's like
definitely
everyone
agree.
learns on GarageBand and then they make the natural progression.
Yeah.
But when you're like writing songs, if it's like a different depending on like the vibe of the song you're writing, whether it's like, I don't know, maybe a happier song or maybe it's more of an emotional song, do you approach the songwriting process a little bit differently?
Sometimes it depends. Most of the time I sit down and start a song with the intention of focusing the emotions I have in that moment into the song, opposed
Mhm.
to recollecting on an emotion that I had previously. I think that way it comes more naturally, and that way it kind of turns into whatever I'm feeling at the moment. But I think more sentimental song or song that has more feeling put into it. I'll probably start off with I. Funny enough, I start off with a lot of acoustic guitar, even though there's not very much acoustic guitar in
Yeah.
my songs. So I actually have it right here. I have this guitar. Oh, I just banged so much stuff up. It's a classical guitar, so it's
Oh,
real
awesome.
mellow, but I get my ideas down on this
Gorgeous. Yeah.
before, and then I move on to electric guitar.
Oh, that's so cool. And then
Yeah.
for like this EP specifically, did you like collaborate with any of those guys that you're playing with at the Kiss?
No, it was kind of we all do our own thing independently and then come
Okay,
together
yeah.
when it comes down um to performing. Luis has his own project, Felt Well, and he's completely solo. He kind of hide, to be honest, he doesn't show us his demos very much. So he always has us on edge waiting for like something new to come out. And then same thing with Tony. He does everything on his own. So we're all kind of independent in the sense of creating something. I hope down the line though we all create something together other than
Yeah.
Vacant, something, going across each other's solo projects, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but you said like this EP is basically just like all you producing in your bedroom.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then like I always like to ask artists, what do you kind of picture your listeners or your audience like where do you picture them listening to your music? Like do you think you see them like in a car or like at a party in their bedroom? Like where do you kind of see it happening?
So the definitely the artists that inspired a lot of the sounds. It was definitely a lot of listening in the car, listening in a bedroom. Um, I just and also to, when listening to this type of music, the music that inspired it, it was also sharing it with people in the car or showing people like
Yeah.
listen to this. It sounds real cool. Like this is what's inspiring me right now. So I think it would be cool in that sense for my music to be shared, in the car in a common place with other
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
I feel like that's such a like a nice vibe of just like sharing music and kind of going back and forth in the car. I feel like
yeah.
that's an artist dream, just to be on someone's like new discovery playlist.
Yeah, I'm never down. I'm never against hearing new music from my friends as
No,
well. So
yeah, me too.
yeah.
And then what's the one thing you'd say you want people to walk away with after like listening to your music? Like what's the one thing you hope they take away?
Just an insight into what I was thinking and feeling at the moment. I think even though I don't consider myself the greatest lyricist or singer. I definitely put a lot of emotion and thought into the lyrics, and I like to use analogies and you know, different things to put more meaning into my songs than just singing about straightforward what I mean. Instead, having people
Yeah.
trying to figure out what I mean by what I'm singing.
Yeah, I like that. I noticed a lot in your music is kind of like you're writing about specific situations, but it's generalized enough where it can be kind of applied to everyone's life and everyone can
Mm,
relate to it, which I think is what all artists kind of strive for. So
yeah. When I specifically with Get Lost, my first single, everyone thinks it's a love song, but it's not.
yeah,
It was just start off as just like I got like getting lost or not being unsure, like a fogginess in the mind, and then it was kind of I get so lost inside of your eyes was one of the lyrics, and people thought it was like like oh you're falling in love or whatever, but because of that I started performing it by switching up the lyrics, and now I say I get lost inside of her eyes just to play with the people that think it is a love song. Okay.
and then I kind of wanted to jump into like the influence behind this EP and stuff too. So was
Okay.
there like a certain memory or moment in the recording process or like writing process of this EP that kind of sticks out in your memory that you want to share?
Hmm. I think definitely after I finally finished Evergreen, and
Yeah.
I was showing off a lot of people off the final because I had been showing the demo to a lot of people and it was kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie, but once I finally finished it and I was showing people, it's just the overwhelming amount of like people in my close circle that were like, "You have to release this right now. You can't hold on to it anymore. Like this is you gotta get
Yeah.
it out there." I think that was probably my favorite, and then just the release of the single definitely is pushing towards
Yeah.
the final EP coming out. So
And then what can kind of people expect from this new music? Can you like describe it in 3 words?
I would say energetic, um, moody. So there's one song that's pretty moody in there, and
Okay.
actually two moody songs, and then just fun. I feel like this group of music is really fun. It's not too serious.
Yeah.
You can listen to it with a serious intent, but you can also just listen to it for fun.
Yeah. And do you find like your music kind of tells a story in the way that you like order it? Or do you think this is like kind of just a collection of a lot of different moments in your life?
With the EP,
Yeah.
from one to the last song, it was made in order. So I made it in order
Oh,
of
cool.
like I started with this one and ended with that one. And it wasn't like I throw a song that I just made in the middle, you know. So
Yeah.
you can hear the progression of the feeling and the story as it progressed, and you could also kind of hear how I grew as a musician as well through the project.
Okay, cool. And then how long have you kind of been sitting on this music then? Like how long has this process been for making the EP?
I think I am about 2 3 months off of hitting a year from um, the first song, and then the song that also Evergreen grew off of. So I think I started it like October,
Okay,
maybe
cool.
November last year, and then just put it out recently, and then the EP is gonna probably be, yeah,
Yeah.
coming soon to that.
And then like from your first ever song that you put out, what was it called again? I'm
Get
thinking like
Lost.
Get Lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've kind of developed as an artist and kind of in your creative process and just how you approach your like artistry?
I think becoming more intentional with the music. I
Yeah.
think when I first started, I was just kind of putting sounds out there and trying to make everything work. But now I start with an idea and I really take time to think about what I want to add to it before I just start adding stuff, because it's really easy for musicians to get discouraged when creating something, and one wrong thing can push away a song, even if
Yeah.
it could have been like the greatest song or the favorite song you ever made. One
Yeah.
wrong thing can kind of push you away from finishing it. So I think being more intentional with how I lay out the instruments and the different
Yeah.
nuances to the music.
And then you're kind of starting to hint at this, but like how do you stay like motivated to be like creative and to be like making the music that you do?
I think staying motivated for me, I like hearing people's input, so I definitely like showing off my demos to people that I trust, as well as just listening to other artists that inspire my music. I think for sure. And
Yeah.
even just exploring new artists or new sounds can kind of spark something in me that makes me want to create something new.
Yeah. And then if you could collaborate with like anyone that you're obsessed with right now, like dead or alive, who would it be?
I think I have two picks, but you probably do. Is it okay if I do two picks?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, Tori Moi for sure. I
Okay.
love
Yeah.
to collaborate with him because he's a huge inspiration, and probably Thundercat for sure, because I just want to have a Thundercat bass line over one of my songs, or
Yeah.
I don't even want to add to one of his songs. I just want him to add something to my own sound. So yeah,
That'd be so cool. Imagine that album with them two and you. I'm just
yeah.
picturing it now. Okay. And then what else can you like kind of preview for anyone watching this about your EP coming up? Like, I don't know what you want to reveal yet, but if there's anything you want to put out there.
I'll say the name.
Okay.
So one of the songs I did perform at Kiss the Sky was the EP title. So Sub Rosa. So
Okay. Yeah.
SUBROSA, Sub Rosa, and it means like in secrecy or secretly or privately. And so that's as much as I'll say about the EP. That might hint towards you know, the message I'm trying to get through with the EP.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited to hear it, and I'm so excited for
Thank
all of
you.
my readers to hear it. I really loved your sound, by the way. Just
Thank
like
you.
I was so like inspired when I heard it. It was such like a cool vibe in that venue. I'd never
Hmm.
been there before.
Oh, it's beautiful. Steve is a great guy. He's
I
always
know I
helping
talked to
us.
him after. He was so cool.
Yeah, yeah. He's helped a lot of people in the area, even though it's all in Batavia. All the Aurora people, get help
Yeah.
from Steve, and even from all Oswego, all over the place. Like
Is
Steve
that
is
the
there
first
for
time you
everybody.
played there?
That was the second time I played with Vacants, and I played keys for Vacants, and keys and this beat machine over here. This is what we use
Yeah.
for our performances to add the little sounds and stuff.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like another layer there. That's
Mhm.
really cool. No, that concert was so awesome though. I want to
Thank
go
you.
back to that venue so bad.
Yeah. Hopefully we do something soon there again.
Yeah, you have to let me know. You have to keep me updated.
I will.
And then just kind of going into like before we wrap things up, the future and stuff like that. So what are your long-term goals for your career?
Long-term goals, I definitely want to start coming closer to other artists, so for either gaining features for future projects or being able to feature on other people's projects,
Yeah.
as well as I'm contacting different artists to be an opener for their shows, because I'm not sure if I want to start getting more into venues that are either in the city or, you know, larger venues than I love Kiss the Sky, but
Yeah.
even Steve was saying like you can start striving for, you know, other
Yeah.
venues. And so I'm always going to do shows like Kiss the Sky, but I want to start reaching out to larger venues or different artists that
Definitely.
have shows.
It's all about building your network. So just making connections with people all over the place is going to be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. I think
And then for like short goals, oh, sorry.
no, sorry. I was gonna say I just think reaching out to other artists or just getting closer to other artists for sure to gain one
Yeah,
inspiration from them and to build off of each other.
exactly. I think it's so important to collaborate and just kind of be in communication with other creative people, like in
Mhm.
an industry like this, because it's so like it can be so cutthroat, but that's kind of what keeps people grounded, I think. So,
Yeah.
and then for short-term goals, like what do you want to do in the next like few months? Like I know like your EP is coming out and everything like that. So what are like your things you want to accomplish within like the really near future?
I like artists that are very visual with their music.
Yeah.
I like visuals. I like a whole feeling around the music. Person that's really good at that is King Cruel, and of course Tyler always has, you know, a
Yeah.
look or a feeling to his music when it comes out. And I like that certain amount of effort that people put into their music, not just the music but also the artistry behind it. So I think for sure a lot of music videos,
Oh yeah.
just art. I think down the line, I just want to put like an accumulation of all the things that have been happening for the past like 6 months and put it onto a magazine, because there's just like there's
Yeah.
hundreds of photos that we have just from over the months that could totally
That's
go towards a
awesome.
magazine. So yeah,
Make like a little lookbook. I love it.
exactly. Yeah.
And then could you like drop your socials so anyone who's watching this can
Okay.
find you and like listen to your music?
Yeah. I go under at the THE underscore Nico Nico NICO, and that is for Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, I think, and YouTube is just Nico Nico. And if it doesn't
Awesome.
pop up there, put Nico Nico Evergreen or Nico Nico Get Lost, and you'll probably find it.
Awesome. Was there anything else you wanted to share before we wrap things up?
No, I think that's it. I had a lot of fun in this interview.
Okay, awesome. I'm so glad we were able to talk.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for everything you have coming up.
thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'll end this now, but I'll
Okay,
send this all to you like when it's all ready, and there'll probably be an accompanying article to like go along with it. But
okay, cool.
probably in the
Thank you
next
so
like
much.
week or two, unless do you have like a certain time frame that you want this to like release in if you're like
No,
planning any kind of like PR thing.
in a week or two, the EP will already be announced, so it'll be all good.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
So yeah, in the next like week or two, I'll give you a heads up when it's going out like that day and stuff like that, so you can review
perfect.
it.
Super cool. Thank
Awesome.
you for having me on
So
this.
nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, see you.